For our next question in regards to education, we are in the midst of what might conceivably be unprecedented cuts to our ECS grant totals. And if Governor Malloy's executive order holds, we could lose up to $6 million in education funding. Our question is, what contingency plans would you have in place, and how might you replace these funds without affecting the high quality of education here in Clinton? And this question goes to Ms. Goupil.
Well, first and foremost, I think that the public education, our Board of Ed, and the Clinton Public Schools are the facilitators and the custodians of our children, and they set their investment path. We need to continue to invest and support our teacher retention to get the return of those future economic benefits as human capital. But addressing the issue specifically of budgets moving forward, the Board of Education works very hard to look at what sort of changes can be made within the departments, looking at the continually changing demographics of the town and also the continually changing population structure of the town. I believe they've been very successful at finding many different areas to do cost-saving measures, and we're going to have to work together with them to continue to find those cost-saving measures moving forward. Everybody is very well aware of the CECs, the current issues with the budgets of the town, implications with the state. We are looking at $6 million. In the latest estimates, we're looking at a cut of $3 million. So they've halved it, but at the end of the day, that could be problematic. I do know the Board of Finance has been working closely with the Board of Ed to make sure that there is not a significant impacts to the student population and the services that they are provided.
Thank you, Mrs. Goupil. Mr. Carr?
Well, we have a man-made crisis on our hand. At the stroke of a pen, Democratic governor who came into office, pro-education, has slashed education support across the state. He did this, he said, so he wouldn't raise taxes. But in fact, what that has done is increased property taxes, the second most regressive tax that Connecticut taxpayers pay. Ms. Goupil said that there was work being done between the Board of Finance and the Board of Education. I'm on the Board of Finance. We've asked the Board of Education almost annually to consolidate things like the financial director and the business manager, things that don't impact education. And we've been resoundingly rejected on a number of those. This is a crisis that is a legitimate reason for us to renegotiate, to restructure, to right-size, to do things that we didn't have to do before because we could do business as usual. But we can't do business as usual anymore. I've reached out to the superintendent of schools to have these discussions because I think they're really critical and I think they're urgent. And I hope that after the election that we'll have a chance to sit down and brainstorm this. I think sending poor people another 10.2% or another 7.4% tax increase or hitting our undesignated fund, we're already on the Moody's watch list of negative outlook, and we can't keep doing what we've been doing, so we have to do something that's seriously different. It's going to be hard-nosed, but it's going to be fair, it's going to be equitable. Everybody has to make a contribution. There can be no sacred cows, we can't show favoritism, and everybody has to do their part to pull together. And it's got to be in that spirit of togetherness, that we can achieve for Clinton what a lot of people don't think can be done. I know the current First Selectman says that it's unrealistic to promise lowering taxes. Our taxes are so high now that there is opportunity, and I think we can find it. But it takes a crisis sometimes to make those things happen, and we've got a crisis, and we shouldn't squander it.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Mrs. Goupil, if you'd like a 1-minute rebuttal.
I believe that, as Mr. Carr had stated, that the Board of Education has been working with the Board of Finance, and all indications have pointed to the fact that this $3 million cut has been accommodated for, this cost share cut has been accommodated for, and therefore we're in a better position to deal with the next budget round coming forward. I don't see a 10% increase on the table coming from the Board of Education at this point. And I'm sure that they're going to do their due diligence working with the First Selectman's office. The Board of Education is going to work with the current structure, whatever the outcome of a charter reform it would be as well, to make sure that they are providing the best for the town, but also being fiscally responsible.
Thank you. Mr. Carr?
Well, the decline in enrollment over the last 14 years has been 17%, and is projected to be 17% over the next 7 years. We've continued to increase the cost of education, and as a result, the cost per pupil has skyrocketed. It's up 32% since 2010. If we continue increasing the education budget just 2% a year, by 2024, it'll be almost $25,000 a year per pupil. There is no evidence that cost per pupil and performance correlate with one another. And so we've got to find some ways to do a better job of educating our students more cost effectively. One thing that is not in the Board of Education mission statement is anything about cost effectiveness. We've got to make, and I know they work hard, but it's not part of the mission statement. We've got to make cost effectiveness paramount to the education system.
Thank you, Mr. Carr.